I am Otisabi of the 9th Arcturian High Council. In this incredibly clarifying transmission, we address a massive biological malfunction and psychological distortion within the Starseed community, the illusion of the empathic sponge and the trap of false martyrdom. We'll explain the actual quantum physics of how your sun Solaris is acting as a multidimensional relay station driving your physical evolution, how solar plasma acts as a cryptographic key to unzip dormant extraterrestrial DNA, and provide the Arcturian timeline for when you're supernatural. Gifts will come fully online in your third-dimensional spiritual and psychological communities. It has become a badge of honor to identify as an empath. You describe yourselves proudly as empathic sponges. You walk into a crowded room, a dense workplace, or a fractured family gathering, and your bioenergetic field instantly expands. You unconsciously absorb the grief, the unspoken anxiety, the hidden anger, and the chaotic trauma of the people around you. You leave these environments physically depleted, neurologically overwhelmed, and emotionally exhausted. You have been programmed by the 3D matrix to believe this absorption is an act of spiritual service. You have been taught a doctrine of false martyrdom, believing that you are helping the collective by taking their pain into your own physical body. You believe that suffering equals holiness. From the clinical objective perspective of the 9th Council, this is not spiritual service. This is a biological malfunction. It is a misuse of your highly advanced terrestrial hardware. Part 2. The obsolete technology of absorption and false MRTYRDMY. From an architectural standpoint, is the empathic sponge a malfunction? We must examine the physics of your toroidal heart field. In the third-dimensional matrix, the infant soul learns the basic alphabet of compassion through direct mimetic resonance. The infant soul must feel the exact, localized pain of another entity in order to cognitively understand that. The other is suffering. The sponge mechanism was a necessary training wheel for a primitive species learning how to connect with the one mind. But you, the Starseeds deployed to Gaia, are not infant souls. You are the vanguard. You have spent thousands of lifetimes in higher-density star systems mastering the physics of consciousness. When you act as a sponge, you are taking dense, low-frequency, jagged geometric structures of fear and hoarding them inside your own highly sensitive biological vessel. Fear is not an abstract concept. It is a heavy, slow-moving plasma. If a master mechanic discovers a massive pool of highly toxic corrosive oil on the floor of a factory, the mechanic does not lie down and drink the oil to remove it from the floor. That would destroy the mechanic. The mechanic uses a specialized external tool to filter, process, and safely remove the hazard so the factory can resume operations. You must stop drinking the toxic oil of the human collective. When you absorb the trauma of the unawakened masses, you forcefully drop your own frequency to match theirs. You dim your internal light because you are a massive generator. When your individual light dims, the overall wattage of the entire planetary grid mathematically decreases. By acting as a sponge, you are not saving anyone. You are inadvertently slowing down the ascension of the Earth. You are providing the dark structures of the Matrix with exactly what they want. A depleted, exhausted, highly capable lightworker. You must evolve your empathy into empathic, transmutation. As we have previously detailed, your heart is a toroidal zero-point generator. You must train your field to operate not as a vacuum that stores dirt, but as a catalytic converter that processes exhaust. When you walk into a dense room, you must drop your awareness into the center of your chest. You draw the density in, hold it in absolute, unshakable neutrality, and exhale it instantly as pristine, restructured light. You do not store the energy. You do not analyze the energy. You do not claim the energy as your own. You simply process it. Imagine you are standing in a chaotic corporate environment. If you operate as a sponge, you absorb the financial panic and ego-driven anxiety of your coworkers returning home with migraines and adrenal fatigue. If you operate as a transmuter, you stand as an immovable, unyielding pillar of neutral light. Your standing wave is so powerful so incredibly structurally sound that the chaotic geometry of the room is forced to entrain to your frequency. You heal the room simply by refusing to match its sickness. Part 3. The Solar Mechanics of Ascension and the Cosmic RELA. How does a species physically transition from a fragile, exhausted sponge to an impenetrable, sovereign and a massive amount of energy required for this biological upgrade cannot be generated from the Earth's current 3D resources. It is being delivered directly by the cosmos. We must speak of the majestic role of your sun Solaris and the greater cosmic architecture that governs your solar system. In your primitive terrestrial sciences, the sun is viewed merely as a massive, unconscious ball of burning hydrogen and helium, a chaotic nuclear furnace providing heat and light for biological photosynthesis. From the Arcturian perspective, Solaris is an immensely conscious multidimensional relay station. The one infinite creator does not communicate with planetary spheres through spoken human language. The creator communicates through highly complex, algorithmically precise geometric packages of light and scalar radiation. These packages, which your spiritual communities call light codes, are originally transmitted from the galactic central sun, which your ancients referred to as Hunabku or Alcyon. They are relayed through the crystalline networks of star systems like Sirius and the Pleiades, downloaded into your local sun, Solaris, and then beamed directly into the Earth's atmosphere via solar flares, coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and gamma ray bursts. The sun is literally broadcasting the new operating software for the fifth-dimensional Earth. Solar flares are not just explosive energy, they are language. They contain the mathematical algorithms necessary to rewrite terrestrial biology. When a massive coronal mass ejection impacts the Earth's magnetosphere, it is not merely disrupting your artificial radio communications and fragile power grids. It is causing a massive spike in the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of the Earth. This spike penetrates the crust of the planet, and it penetrates the cellular walls, the water molecules, and the neural pathways of your physical body. You are currently living in a solar maximum, a grand cycle of unprecedented solar activity, because the Earth has requested the download to finalize the dimensional shift. Part 4. The unzipping of the DNA and the biological of Farsi-Tioan. What exactly happens on a microscopic level when this highly charged, intelligent solar plasma interacts with human biology? It initiates a rapid, profound process of genetic unzipping. As we have stated, the vast majority of your human DNA, over 90%, is not junk, as your geneticists previously assumed. The cosmos does not manufacture junk. It is highly compressed extraterrestrial coding that has remained dormant, securely locked during the 3D quarantine of your planet. It contains the blueprints for silica-based biology, telepathic transmission, and infinite cellular regeneration. The specific geometric light codes carried by the solar plasma act as the precise cryptographic keys required to unlock this DNA. When the high-voltage solar plasma hits a dormant carbon-based strand of DNA, the strand begins to vibrate at a radically accelerated rate. If the biological vessel is relatively clear, if the nervous system is not severely clogged with the dense, absorbed trauma of the empathic sponge mechanism, the DNA strand successfully absorbs the light, breaks its carbon bonds, and unzips, revealing its multidimensional capacity. This physical mutation is exactly why your physical bodies are currently experiencing such intense, unexplainable friction. You are experiencing deep, bone-weary exhaustion because your cells are consuming massive amounts of ATP to facilitate this genetic rewrite. You are experiencing phantom nerve firing, heart palpitations, and intense heat in your spine as your bioplasmic circuitry is upgraded to handle a higher electrical voltage. You are experiencing ringing in the ears as your auditory cortex crystallizes to perceive the shifting Schumann resonance. You may find that your body suddenly and violently rejects low-frequency foods, synthetic chemicals, and dense environments. These are not symptoms of a failing biology. These are the biological growing pains of a species receiving a massive Live software update via solar transmission while the avatar is still awake. The sun is literally, physically rewriting your genetic code. It is turning off the epigenetic loops of ancestral trauma and turning on the codices of the Starseed, Part D. The timeline of full activation in the biological thermometer. A primary question arises consistently within the Starseed collective. How long will this painful process take? When will my dormant gifts, advanced telepathy, organic remote viewing, spontaneous cellular regeneration, and instantaneous manifestation come fully online? The human ego desires a linear date. You desire a specific month or year marked on a calendar so you can passively wait for the event to occur. We must answer this with absolute clinical precision. The activation of your gifts is not governed by the clock. It is governed by the thermometer. They will activate the exact moment your localized biological frequency can sustain the required electrical voltage without catastrophic failure to your central nervous system. If a massive surge of 5D telepathic awareness were fully unlocked, in a human brain that still harbored intense 3D resentment, victimhood, and fear, the influx of data would cause severe neurological damage and instant psychological psychosis. The cosmic intelligence is perfect. It will not unzip the advanced DNA if your biological hardware and emotional software cannot safely support it. For some of you listening to this transmission, the gifts are already coming online rapidly. You are experiencing undeniable flashes of profound telepathy with your soul family. You are beginning to visually sense the auric fields and geometric light bodies of others. Your manifestation lag time is collapsing from years into mere days or hours. You are experiencing ambient localized healing, where your mere presence in a room calms the nervous systems of those around you. For others, the process is agonizingly slow because your vessel is still acting as a sponge. If you are hoarding the dense trauma of your family lineage, obsessively absorbing the fear-based global news cycle, and refusing to forgive those who have wronged you, your biological thermometer remains too low to handle the 5D voltage. Long pause, however, because you are part of a planetary collective. We can provide a macro timeline for the overall trajectory based on the current, a highly accelerated trajectory of solar activity and the mathematical dismantling of the 3D control matrix. The critical mass of the ground crew, the Starseed collective, will achieve functional, sustained omnisensory capability between your linear years of 2028 and 2032. During this intense 4-year window, the phenomenon known as the splitting of the worlds will become physically evident. The 5D crystalline grid will achieve complete structural dominance over the collapsing 3D hologram. The gifts you currently view as supernatural, paranormal, or exceptionally rare will become the standard unexceptional biological baseline. For the awakened human, but you cannot wait for 2028. You must do the rigorous work to clear the vessel now. You must drop the identity of the sponge. You must stop absorbing the dark if you wish to structurally hold the light. Part 6. Deep Trance Activation. The Solar Purge and IGNIDO and we will now dedicate the remainder of this masterclass to a highly advanced, deeply restorative bioelectrical visualization. We are going to manually flush the toxic sponge mechanism from your auric field, isolate the muddy water of the collective, and we are going to violently open your crown to receive the specific cryptographic keys of the sun. Speak with deliberate, agonizing slowness, voice dropping to a deep, resonant, architectural whisper. Let the silence stretch out immensely, filling the space for deep trance work. This section must feel vast, suspended, and immensely powerful. Close your physical eyes. Do not move a single muscle in your body. You must convince your physical vessel that it is entirely safe, allowing the sympathetic nervous system to stand down and the neurological pathways to open without 3D resistance. Bring your awareness to the extreme outer edge of your energy field, the boundary extending approximately 3 to 6 feet away from your physical skin in all directions. Imagine this boundary is currently thick, heavy, saturated, and bloated, like a dense sea sponge soaked in dark, muddy, stagnant water. This is the accumulated anxiety, fear, grief, and panic of the 3D collective that you have mistakenly absorbed and claimed as your own. It is time to squeeze the sponge. Pause, take a deep, forceful, violent breath in through your nose. As you exhale, powerfully through your mouth, visualize your energy field instantly compressing, squeezing intensely tight around your physical body like a shrinking sphere of light. See the dark, muddy water, the dense ancestral trauma, the corporate anxiety, the planetary grief violently expelled from your aura. Watch it blast outward and fall heavily into the earth. See the molten crystalline core of Gaia instantly. Incinerate and neutralize it. Wait 10 seconds. Let the space feel lighter. We must do it again to clear the deepest layers. Inhale deeply, gathering all remaining tension. Exhale forcefully and compress the field even tighter. Squeeze the absolute. Last remnants of density out. Watch the final, thick drops of the collective sphere fall away from your pristine geometry. Wait 15 seconds. Let the profound emptiness settle in. Your field is now empty. It is unimaginably light. It is clear, vibrating glass. You are no longer a sponge. You are a pristine, empty sovereign vessel now. We must fill the empty vessel with the correct 5D operating software. Bring your entire awareness to the very top of your head. The crown chakra, visualize it opening slowly, petal by petal, like a magnificent, massive golden lotus flower expanding to face the sky. Now, project your mind upward and visualize the sun Solaris. See it not as fire, but as a pulsating, brilliant, blinding geometric sphere of pure intelligence. It is looking directly at you. A single, incredibly concentrated, massive beam of liquid gold plasma shoots down from the center of the sun. It travels through the vacuum of space, through the Earth's atmosphere, and enters the wide-open golden lotus at the crown of your head. Extended pause. Speak softly but with immense power. Feel the intense, warm, heavy weight of this liquid light as it pours into the center of your brain. It washes over your calcified pineal gland, dissolving. The crust flows down the fluid of your spinal column, illuminating every vertebra like a string of brilliant pearls. It floods into your toroidal heart center, completely filling the vast and empty space where the dense trauma used to reside. This plasma contains the exact, mathematically perfect cryptographic codes required to unzip your dormant starseed DNA. Pause, ignite, pause, feel the subtle electric humming vibrating deep within your cells. Feel the heat radiating in the palms of your hands and pooling at the base of your spine. Your biological thermometer is rising rapidly. You are successfully acclimating to the 5D voltage. Repeat this clinical decree in the absolute silence of your mind. Let the words echo through your liquid gold-filled vessel. I formally release the obsolete 3D technology of the empathic sponge. Pause. I absolutely refuse to absorb the dense trauma of the collapsing 3D illusion. Pause. I open my sovereign vessel to the geometric light codes of the sun. Pause. I command the safe, accelerated, and total unzipping of my cosmic DNA. Pause. I prepare my biological hardware for the full, immediate activation of my multi-dimensional gifts. Massive interval of silence. Allow the listener to float in this deeply clued, solar-activated high-voltage state for the remaining duration of the transmission. Starseeds of Gaia, the cosmos is speaking to you directly. Through the blinding light of your central star, stop trying to heal a broken world by absorbing its pain. Heal the world by becoming so brilliant, so pristine, and so deeply, unshakably anchored in your own sovereign light that pain simply cannot exist in your presence. We monitor your rise in voltage from the observation decks of the ships. You're illuminating the planetary grid beautifully. I am Adissavi of the 9th Arcturian High Council. The transmission is complete. Adonai, end of transmission.